For centuries, human history has been filled with strange tales, bizarre relics, and unexplained phenomena that seem to defy mainstream science. But among all the ancient secrets and cosmic mysteries, two specific stories have ignited some of the wildest alien conspiracy theories on internet forums and late-night documentaries. The first is floating directly above your head right now in the freezing void of space. A dark, mysterious, multi-ton object orbiting Earth in a polar trajectory, long before humans ever built their first rocket. Enthusiasts call it the Black Knight satellite. The second is buried deep beneath the arid desert sands of Peru, mummified remains of ancient humanoid creatures with elongated skulls, small bodies, and only 3 long, slender fingers on each hand and foot. Are these items proof that extraterrestrial visitors have been monitoring Earth for thousands of years, leaving behind advanced orbital probes and biological remains? Or are they just clever hoaxes, space junk, and misidentified human artifacts? Welcome back to Cosmic Clueless. Today we are strapping an archaeologist's hat and astronaut gloves onto our unluckiest stickman proxy, grabbing a shovel and a telescope, and diving headfirst into the weirdest cosmic artifacts in history. Naturally, our stickman proxy decides he wants to be the first human to physically board the Black Knight satellite and claim it for himself. He builds a makeshift orbital space tug using an old pickup truck, 4 fireworks rockets, and a giant roll of duct tape. He blasts off into the atmosphere, roaring past low Earth orbit and searching the dark sky for the floating alien probe. "There it is, the 13,000-year-old alien satellite," he shouts, pointing his stickman finger at a large, shadowy dark mass drifting silently against the stars. He fires his grapple hook, latching onto the mysterious black artifact, and pulls himself aboard. He stands on top of the floating black structure, holding an alien flag, and slams his boot down to claim his prize. "I own the Black Knight satellite," he screams in victory. But our stickman didn't check NASA's historical flight logs. The dark object isn't an alien probe, it is a lost thermal insulation blanket dropped by NASA astronaut Jerry Ross during Space Shuttle mission STS-88 in 1998. Because the thermal blanket is made of soft, paper-thin foil, his heavy stickman boot punches right through the fragile material. The blanket rips apart, wrapping tightly around our stickman like a gigantic, crinkly piece of aluminum foil. Trapped inside the shiny thermal cocoon, our stickman goes spinning out of orbit, tumbling out of control toward the upper atmosphere like a giant metallic potato. Classic amateur space salvage fail. Once our stickman untangles himself from NASA's space blanket, we have to examine the true origin story of the Black Knight satellite myth. Where did this legendary idea even come from in the first place? Long before space shuttles or the Sputnik satellite, legendary inventor Nikola Tesla was testing high-voltage wireless power equipment at his Colorado Springs laboratory in 1899. While listening to atmospheric electrical noise on his sensitive radio receivers, Tesla recorded a series of rhythmic repeating radio signals that seemed to count out numerical pulses. 1, 2, 3. Tesla publicly declared that he believed he had intercepted radio signals from intelligent beings on Mars or Venus. Decades later, astronomers realized Tesla had likely intercepted pulses from natural magnetospheric waves or early radio equipment. But in the late 1800s, it sparked a global obsession with alien radio beacons. Fast forward to 1954. Newspapers across America published stories quoting retired Air Force Major Donald Keyhoe, who claimed the U.S. Air Force had detected 2 artificial satellites orbiting Earth. The bizarre part? In 1954, no nation on planet Earth possessed the technology to launch a rocket into space. Sputnik wouldn't launch until 1957. So, if humans couldn't launch satellites in 1954, what were those mysterious radar tracks orbiting Earth? Let us move on to part 2 and uncover the truth behind space radar tracking, secret spy satellites, and the mysterious Nazca Mummies. In February 1960, the United States Navy dropped a massive bombshell on the scientific community. Their newly installed dark satellite detection radar had picked up a heavy, mysterious object orbiting Earth in a polar orbit. At the time, neither the Americans nor the Soviet Union possessed the technology to place heavy satellites into polar orbits. Headlines blasted across newspapers worldwide. Mystery alien satellite discovered in Earth orbit. Conspiracists quickly merged Tesla's 1899 signals, early radar tracks, and strange orbital photos into a single, unified myth. An ancient alien probe named the Black Knight had been orbiting Earth for 13,000 years, gathering intelligence on human civilization. But the cold, hard reality turned out to be far less alien, yet equally dramatic. The mysterious orbital object picked up by U.S. Navy radar was actually a dead, silent piece of space junk from America's own classified Discoverer 8 spy satellite program. The satellite casing had gone off course during launch, lost control, and drifted into a temporary polar orbit before ground operators lost tracking of it. And that iconic, terrifying photograph showing a dark, high-tech alien vessel against the dark space background? It was taken during Space Shuttle Endeavour's flight in 1998. During a spacewalk to construct the International Space Station, astronaut Jerry Ross accidentally lost grip of a heavy thermal protection blanket. As the dark, silver-lined fabric floated away into space, it crumpled into a strange, menacing shape. NASA photographed the space junk as it drifted into the distance, cataloged it as object number 25544, and watched it burn up completely in Earth's atmosphere a few days later. Now, if the Black Knight satellite turned out to be a misplaced blanket, what about the strange biological anomalies found deep inside the dry desert of South America? In 2017, a sensational headline rocked the world of alternative archaeology. Multiple ancient mummified bodies had been unearthed near the legendary Nazca lines in Peru. But these were no ordinary human mummies. The figures possessed elongated skulls, tiny slender torsos, large eye sockets, and, most shocking of all, only 3 extremely long, jointed fingers on each hand and foot. Promoters claimed these mummies, nicknamed Maria and Josephine, were living biological proof that gray extraterrestrials had lived alongside ancient human civilizations thousands of years ago. Naturally, our stickman proxy decides he doesn't need peer-reviewed scientific journals. He buys a white lab coat, puts on oversized safety goggles, and sets up his own underground laboratory to test a real 3-fingered mummy sample. He places the delicate mummy hand under a high-powered electronic microscope, holding a glowing laser scanner in his other stickman hand. "Time to prove to the world that aliens build pyramids," he shouts, zapping the mummy finger with his high-energy laser scanner. But our stickman forgot basic lab safety rules. His high-powered laser ignites an ancient, concentrated layer of white diatomaceous earth powder covering the mummy. The powder reacts with his chemical scanner, creating a sudden, blinding flash of purple quantum energy. A mini wormhole opens right on his lab table. The localized gravitational portal instantly sucks in his microscope, his sample, his lab coat, and half of his stickman body. Our stickman gets dematerialized into a swirl of floating digital particles, leaving his floating white eyes screaming in the void before snapping back together with a loud pop. Classic amateur lab experiment disaster. Once our stickman gets his stickman particles reassembled, we have to look at what medical researchers and forensic scientists actually discovered when they put the Nazca mummies through CT scans and X-ray analysis. When Peruvian radiologists and international forensic experts examined the interior bone structures of these smaller 3-fingered mummies, they uncovered a shocking, bizarre puzzle. The X-rays revealed that the internal skeleton was a messy patchwork of real ancient animal and human bones assembled together. One mummy's arm contained a human thigh bone turned upside down, while its hands were constructed using modified human finger bones glued together to create the illusion of 3 long claws. The skulls were made from altered llama and alpaca brain cases, carved out to look like alien heads. However, the story took a weird turn when independent researchers claimed that some larger specimens showed unbroken bone joints, continuous skin tissue, and unique DNA profiles that didn't neatly match standard reference databases. Could these remains be an elaborate tomb robber art project? A clever hoax created for internet fame? Or did ancient cultures construct these figures to honor strange beings that once descended from the sky?
Why are human beings so endlessly obsessed with stories like the Black Knight satellite and the three-fingered mummies of Nazca? Because we desperately want to know that we are not alone in this vast, quiet universe.
The idea that an ancient extraterrestrial satellite has been circling Earth for thousands of years, watching over our civilizational progress, gives us a thrilling sense of cosmic wonder. And the prospect of finding buried alien remains under ancient desert sands makes us feel like we are living inside a real-life Indiana Jones movie. However, modern science teaches us a critical lesson. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. When we look at the Black Knight satellite, the physical evidence points straight to human spaceflight history, discarded rocket stages, classified spy satellites, and lost thermal protection blankets drifting through orbit. And when we look closely at the Nazca Mummies, physical forensic analysis reveals the dark, tragic reality of grave robbing, looters modifying ancient human remains and animal bones to sell lucrative alien relics to wealthy private collectors and gullible media outlets. Naturally, our stickman proxy decides he needs to leave behind all the fake artifacts and go search for a 100% real alien artifact himself. He grabs a metal detector, strap-on jetpack, and heads deep into the remote Peruvian desert to find the ultimate extraterrestrial prize. After walking under the burning sun for 6 straight hours, his metal detector starts beeping wildly. Beep, beep, beep. I found it! A real alien starship module buried in the sand, he screams with pure joy. He starts digging like a mad dog, throwing sand everywhere until his shovel strikes a solid metallic object. He pulls out a strange, circular silver plate covered in mysterious ancient symbols. Look at these galactic runes! It is an interstellar navigation disk, he shouts, triumphantly holding the shiny metal artifact over his head. But our stickman forgot his reading glasses. As he holds the plate closer to his face, he wipes away a layer of desert dust and reads the clear, stamped letters on the back. Property of San Diego Hubcap Company, 1984, Toyota Corolla. Just as he realizes he dug up an old car hubcap, his jetpack accidentally short-circuits from the sand, igniting both rockets simultaneously. Our stickman gets launched sideways across the desert dunes like a human pinball, slamming face-first into a giant cactus and leaving his stickman legs twitching in the air. Classic stickman artifact hunting adventure. Science does not reject the possibility of extraterrestrial life. In fact, programs like SETI and the James Webb Space Telescope are scanning millions of distant stars right now to find authentic signs of distant alien technology. But mistaking space garbage for alien warships or glued-together bone fragments for cosmic visitors only distracts us from the real, breathtaking discoveries waiting out there in the cosmos. Real alien artifacts might be floating out in the Kuiper Belt, orbiting distant exoplanets, or hiding inside interstellar asteroids passing through our solar system. We just need to keep our telescopes pointed at the stars and our scientific critical thinking razor sharp. What do you think about these bizarre cosmic mysteries? Is the Black Knight just a space blanket? Or are space agencies hiding a real orbital probe? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown of space junk myths, mummy hoaxes, and stickman hubcap disasters, smash that like button, subscribe to Cosmic Clueless, and hit the notification bell. Watch out for flying space blankets, keep your jetpacks checked, and we will see you in the next episode.